Greetings. We return yet again to the cursed lands of Barovia, this time at the heart of its evil. When last we left off, the group had plumbed the depths in search of Strahd's lair, hoping to find one of the fabled treasures that will avail them against the devil. They traversed the dungeons, the torture rooms, and came to a very large water-covered room where they slew some undead, and will now be able to continue. Is there anything that anybody wanted to say before we start the proper?
No.
Fuck Strahd. But
And with that said, we shall start proper.
Okay.
You come to this large, water-covered room, or water-filled. The only currently visible distinguishing mark being an upraised platform that's 7 feet up from where the water ends. So it's technically higher, but still climbable. Where there are 2 throne-like seats upon it and a red curtain behind those seats.
And that was the only thing in the room.
Yes.
Okay, so the first thing I do after combat ends is I immediately cast Detect Magic. Trying to fish out any more of those teleportation traps out of the water.
Sasha utilizes Detect Magic and finds no teleportation traps.
Okay.
A few moments where you're going through the murky water, doing your best to sense.
Then let's approach the throne because it's the only thing in the room, right?
yeah.
It's a little slippery
Send.
to get up the wall, so it's not going to be a huge challenge to climb up it, but it'll still require a roll or shenanigans if you have climbing neutralizing shenanigans.
No, I don't think so.
I
I have some rope, chain, and grapple hooks.
how it's like 10 feet up.
7.
Yeah.
Okay. Then in order to make the climbing easier, for me, because I have a horrible athletics check, I'm going to send the arena dolls up the wall since they have a climb speed with a rope and a python, and they'll attach it, and then I'll climb up the rope.
You had some chain you were going to offer?
Well, I mean, I have rope, grapple hook, that if we wanted, we can just wrap up there to try and make it a bit easier, but there's already a rope being used.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they can attack, they can secure it. That's the only reason I
Do your servants have... I was going to ask, do your servants have, like, a strength score? Like, would there be...
Yeah, it's a low one, but knocking a pitten into a thing, it doesn't require, like, outrageous. I can do it, and I am weak as fuck.
They could use their bash attack too, as well, right?
Mm. There are a few arenas that scale the wall. And there's the sound of hammering from above. For a little while, you're left with your thoughts and the sound of metal hitting. Do you have a metal hammer or like a wooden hammer?
I used to have a metal hammer, but that was destroyed. So I'm pretty sure I have a wood one now.
In the worst case scenario, I bet one of you others probably has something.
Yeah.
If need be.
Pretty sure I have a wooden mallet still, though. Like a small.
I have manacles they could use as a hammer.
I got a fucking hammer.
Oh, okay.
We'll use that hammer then.
black water in which you stand is still, though no less rancid than when you originally entered the room.
When we get up to the...
It's very quiet.
Okay, well, if we get up to the higher point, is there water up there?
There is not.
Okay.
In due time, the hammering stops. Out of curiosity, who is climbing up the rope first?
Probably shouldn't be me. Just
I can go up there first.
Okay.
Bravely and boldly, Siguror climbs the rope. Honestly, yeah, that was really tacky right now. I started to ask for like a roll, but like the rope's there, so I'll just give it to you. You scale, and now you're face to face with what you could somewhat see from where you were before. This platform that very nicely overlooks the whole room, and two wooden throne-like chairs that have red velvet upon them, though they're like damp and old, and there's like some moss spots here and there. And then, of course, the curtain that stands behind them.
From this spot, does this kind of seem like almost like an entertainment room, like an amphitheater, or I guess a place where people kind of just gathered? Because I mean, if these spots are for the king, or rulers.
Well, up here, like maybe thinking about it and squinting a bit as the next person climbs up, which would be who?
I'll climb up next.
As you're like squinting
Can I get the PHP?
and thinking about it, you notice like some other forms that you were faintly aware of when you originally came in here of rusted torture devices. And you're thinking, this place isn't a good place for viewing. Maybe not like a theater, but perhaps a theater of pain.
Nice.
Sasha makes it to the platform and sees what Siguror sees. Old throne-like chairs with musty red velvet upon them, as well as the curtain that flows behind them.
Does my detect magic pick up anything?
It may. Could I get a reminder of the range?
30 feet.
30 feet.
That sounds. Yeah, okay. It does, but not in this room. There's something beyond the curtain that is quite magical.
School?
And very interesting. Let me see.
Does the book tell you what school of magic it is? Typically, something if someone casts detect magic in this room.
It'll
Why
give
doesn't
details sometimes.
Well, if it doesn't, then
Pretty sure Detect Magic will tell you to school, but if you want,
no. What he's asking is if the book says what magical effects are.
Oh.
I'm scanning really quickly. It does not specify, and I don't want to give some stuff away. So, for what it's worth, we're going to work around it because in character,
If it's a teleportation effect, like any of the traps, then it would be conjuration. Also, I was wrong. I thought it was transmutation, but that was 3.5. So, don't worry about what I said last episode.
I'll do my best.
There was changing the fucking schools around between editions. I remember when healing was necromancy.
Huh.
Which is it?
Cleric?
Okay, so
Wrong. It's not even a school of magic.
it's evocation now.
Oh, crazy. Basically, since you know in character, I'm gonna tell you before anything happens that wouldn't make sense if you already knew. So I'm gonna do that. Just out of curiosity, who's up next? I'll describe you both climbing, but one after the other.
Additionally, once we're all up there, I will cast prestidigitation on myself and the arena dolls to wipe off all the nasty water and smell.
I'll go next.
There's a moment where both Ahri and Crack maybe look at one another, and Ahri starts climbing, and then Crack climbs up after. You get up in time to see your companion, Sasha, with seemingly the flick of a wrist, clean off himself and his dolls. Izek puts a hand up and pushes himself up once he's on the side and then stands at the ready.
I kind of forgot about him.
Put him in perfect chance for a sneak attack. Then I suppose if there's nothing else, go through the curtain.
Yeah, well, we should still look around in case there is something here, so can we make perception checks?
Sure.
And I should know, basically, unless anything's stopping me, I'm upkeeping Detect Magic by just re-ritual casting it.
Okay.
So yeah, until I'm stopped, I'm going to try to have continuous Detect Magic up.
Then sure.
That's not good. Sahar got a 9, Sasha got an 8.
Alright.
6.
And what about you?
24.
16.
Sasha, Sahar, and Siguror find nothing. But it is Ahri and Crack
Obviously rock corpses.
that can confidently say that they have found nothing. At least at the
Thanks. That's awesome. Alright, let's go through the... There is some sort of magic on the other side of this, point towards the fucking curtain. So approach with caution.
I'll take the spear and push it back and get ready.
push back and get ready. And the group advances. The group advances into another room of fair size. This room is 30 feet square, rising to a 20-foot tall flat ceiling. A stone brazier burns fiercely at the center of the room, which is the source of the magic that you detect. But it is tall white flame that when you get close, you find it produces no heat. The rim of the brazier is carved with 7 cup-shaped indentations spaced evenly around its circumference. Within each indentation is a spherical stone, twice the diameter of a human eyeball, and made of a colored crystal. No 2 stones are the same color. Overhead, a wooden-framed hourglass as tall and wide as a dwarf hangs 10 feet above the brazier, suspended from the ceiling by thick iron chains. All the sand is stuck in the upper portion of the hourglass, seemingly unable to run down to the bottom. Written in glowing script on the base of the hourglass is a verse in common. 2 9-foot-tall iron statues of knights on horseback, poised to charge with swords drawn, stand in deep alcoves facing each other. The brazier sits between them.
Oh, that's cool.
What's the thing on the bottom of the hourglass say?
Inching up, Ahri takes a look and reads the inscription. The inscription reads, "Cast a stone into the fire. Violet leads to the mountain spire. Orange to the castle's peak. Red if lore is what you seek. Green to where the coffins hide. Indigo to the master's bride. Blue to ancient magic's womb. Yellow to the master's tomb."
This is a fucking teleportation fire.
And once he's read the inscription, now I can give away. Yeah, that's the school that you picked up.
Okay, it's conjuration. Some sort of teleportation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take a, The red one was the one about knowledge?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll take a red one and I'll
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Also, dwarf, is that a male dwarf?
No, the
It's-
hourglass
it
is
was
the
the
size
size.
of the door.
Okay, sorry. I heard dwarf. I was going, what?
Then we see a dwarf corpse in the sand in the hourglass.
Oh, I thought I heard it.
You take the red stone and toss it into the fire. The fire then turns from white to red, and the sand in the hourglass begins to fall.
Interesting. But nothing else happens?
No.
I'll wait for our sand to finish. Does anything else happen?
Going around the
Sand.
statue while that's ticking down.
Going around, the only thing that appears to happen is that once the sand in the hourglass like completely falls to the bottom, the flame turns from red back to white again, and the red stone, or a new red stone, like pops into place from the indentation where you took one, and then the sand like disappears and then like materializes back in the top.
So can I roll Arcana to maybe try to figure out what's happening?
Sure.
Because I have a theory in character, but if I can roll, that would be nice as well. 22.
I said 5 minutes. It really takes less time than that. It goes back technically in like half a minute. So there's a bit of time. And you said you got what?
22 on my Arcana check.
Okay. You already know that this is teleportation of some kind.
Right.
Given certain types of effects and how powerful and not powerful they are, sometimes it's easier for magical reasons for something to, instead of like doing an automatic effect, to kind of like, well, it's like the principle of opening a portal instead of just sending someone.
So it's like a
somewhere.
teleportation circle,
You
but
think if you interact with the flame, then
okay.
you'll do it.
Then I'll take the red one again, and I'll throw it into the fire. And do I have to be near Sahar to dismiss and resummon him? Because I don't think I do, but before I do this, I want to double check.
I do not know, but I'm going to say no.
Okay.
But you don't?
Then I will pet Sahar and whisper something to him, and then I will send him through the portal, and then I'll give it about 30 seconds, and then I will desummon him and resummon him next to me and ask him what he saw. Or actually, wait, I can look through his eyes, so I'm going to do that.
I was gonna wonder if there's like a range to taking over their senses.
I think if I activate it, well, it depends on how far he goes, but if I activate it before he goes through.
Oh, there's a range to seeing through his eyes?
I think there's a range on when you have to be close to them when you activate it.
Ah.
So if I activate it and then send him through for at least the rest of that turn, I'd be able to see.
Yeah. Assuming that is correct, which I'm willing to do so, then that sounds like a decent plan.
So yeah, at least I'll have a turn of knowing what's on the other side of that.
You take Sahar, whisper to him, and you send him forth. Immediately upon touching the flame, Sahar disappears. When Sahar reappears, as you know, seeing through his eyes, he finds himself in a room with a blazing hearth that sheds red and amber light on walls that are covered with rows upon rows of books.
That sounds useful.
Ancient books and tomes, their leather covers, like from smell and sight, Sahar can tell, well oiled and preserved through careful use. Additionally, there are a couple of chairs in here that are made of burgundy-colored wood with padded leather seats and black cushions, both positioned to face the hearth. And there is a painting that hangs over the mantelpiece in a very heavily gilded frame.
What's the painting of?
The painting looks exactly like Irina, but dressed in royal clothing. Like there's this neat purple dress with like silver detailing that you've never seen her before in, and like none of the dolls were in. But it looks exactly like her, like face, hair.
Okay, that's weird. Is this painting over a fire?
Yes.
Woman over the fire.
Yeah. Judging from the architecture, does it look like it's part of Castle Ravenloft? Like, is it made out of the same stone that the upstairs was made out of?
You're no stone expert, but it looks similar to you.
Okay. I have all in skills. I'm kind of an everything expert.
It smells bad. Well,
anyway, jokes aside, I'll ask Sahar what it'd feel like if the temperature was similar to here. Like it wasn't outrageously cold all of a
once
sudden.
Sahar's back.
Yeah, once Sahar's back.
It was not. Which Sahar like communicates. I'll say like in some with some kind of special eye language. There's a way like he hoods his eyes when he looks at you to confirm it wasn't.
Nod for yes, shake for no.
That would have been easier. Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
One says
The library in this place. I believe it houses one of the things we are looking for. There's a painting of, it looks like Irina, but in no clothing I have ever seen of her. She was over a fire. If it was the library here, then we should go there. Once we have obtained what is in his crypt.
You want to do the crypt first?
Crypt first, because this will take us here, but we won't know how to get back. And then from the library, I can find Irina.
Well, one was marked coffins, and one was marked his resting place.
His
The
resting
master's
place is here.
library.
I have seen it.
He's thinking about teleportation wise.
Yeah, one gem is marked as
Well,
to the
I'm
coffins.
if you let me, I'm gonna check out all of them.
Oh.
So then I'm gonna go through, having checked that one, I'm going to just go through them in order because I'm gonna do them all anyway. Unless I'm stopped by anything, Sasha's willing to just throw one after the other and keep sending so hard to figure out what the rest
After
of
you
them are.
threw in the first gem, did the knights seem to change?
It might.
Like inspecting the knights.
During Sahar's time inspecting one of the rooms, Siguror, ever vigilant, was looking upon the knights.
Because I mean, if they're turned towards the thing,
They turned towards the thing.
That's weird.
I don't sense any
He
magic
cast
on
his
them, right?
steely gaze. I think I said multiple magic, and that was me like thinking, did I? So yes, you do,
Oh,
but
strange.
ever vigilant. Sigurd keeps an eye, and they don't appear to move or change while interacting with the Brosian.
Hourglass directly over the fire. Two knights look like they're about to charge at the thing that allows things to teleport. I'm wondering if like there's
If
something
they're
that
gonna-
is done that will destroy it if we mess with something. Or do something out of that particular order.
We're gonna find out. I can't. There's no spell I can cast to figure that out. So.
Well, here's the next chance I can look to see if they're on some sort of track to it.
You can do so.
Yeah, seeing if
Roll me.
it's
I
inspect to see if
I
we
can-
move.
So I know that the two statues are magical, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of a weird vibe.
You said it would.
Like a construct vibe?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's a shot in the dark, but like
You said
usually
then
when
I
you get
will
a kind of
say-
funny feeling off of stuff that's not super
Can I
direct.
roll Arcana to see if there's maybe any telltale signs of it being some sort of golem?
Not right now.
Did you happen to say it was investigation to look them over?
No. I just asked you for a perception because you
Oh.
had said aloud maybe they're on tracks or something. So like it's kind of dusty in here. So,
Okay. Got the roll for you. You need it.
The next stone in order is an orange stone, which by the Brazier's description leads to Castle's Peak. Upon going through that, Sahar sees a dark and dreary room with manacles attached to the walls. In the middle of the room, there is a wood-framed bed fitted with leather restraints. At the foot of the bed rests a closed iron chest, which has a lid sculpted with some kind of emblem. There is also a wooden ladder leaned against one of the walls. It is also a little drippy in here and cold. Like, not extremely cold, but like drafty. When you utilize the yellow stone, you are met with a vision that you saw through your arcane eye, which is Strahd's tomb. Specifically, the bottom of the stairs through the portcullis that like is in the way. Because your eye had to like fit through and then go, okay. This thing takes you like past that. You're just in the room on ground zero.
Okay.
The green stone gets a toss.
If someone goes through the portal and then there's a brazier in all of these rooms that the Sahar goes through where he comes out.
No.
No?
Sahar comes back
Yeah,
like
so
when
we
the
won't-
effect runs out.
So we won't.
Or-
When I desummon and then resummon.
Oh no, that's it. Okay.
Okay, I was wondering if he was asking when
I
Sahar
thought
goes
I
through a
forgot from
brazier, if it's out of another fire.
Yeah,
Yeah,
basically.
it's
it is
not. He's,
Oh,
he's
okay.
just appearing, which is why.
I thought I had forgotten something from it. How is he getting back? But no, you already thought.
So. I still want to physically go to the tomb because we won't know how to get back here if we just teleport to the tomb.
Yeah.
So.
The green stone, prescribed as where coffins hide, is tossed in the fire. Sahar goes through and comes face to face with a dark room that is like barely lit, like with maybe mild moonlight from the outside, and it looks to be some type of cellar that has a number of coffins on the floor scattered about.
That many?
A lot,
I don't think we should.
and by a lot, I mean 14.
Is he building a vampire army?
There are
Crack,
also some
14
sticks.
hardly an army.
Back. When you were in the coffin seller's house in Valaki, the what did the basement look like? How many coffins?
I don't think there was 6. Is that correct, Dave?
Spoilers, I remember there being more. You're on the right track. You're able to confirm
Right.
your suspicions.
This is how he got to the vampires into Valaki. They did not use the wall, they teleported from this brazier.
Mm.
As I suspected.
Next stone up is blue, which according to the brazier is
I knew he had some sort of teleportation circle or some bullshit.
to ancient magic's womb.
You said that was blue?
Yes.
Oh, He's a fucking wizard. Why would he?
Yeah, that's fucking annoying.
I wonder if, well, hey, at least we have another chip to gain more bonus stuff in Valaki.
If we need to run, we can also teleport straight to the flag.
And then immediately destroy the teleportation circle.
Well, we could attempt to.
There's no circle on the other side. We'd have to destroy the brazier.
Or take a gem and don't throw it into the fire and see if it regenerates if the gem isn't destroyed.
This time, Sahar is whisked away to somewhere that is very, very cold, despite the surroundings being indoors. Sahar sees a gold
Would you say like
marble
a
staircase.
super cold mountain, maybe really far away?
From his descriptions, perhaps. Despite being inside. There's a gold marble staircase that Sahar sees with like a black marble railing that hugs a wall. There are amber covered walls that also like
You don't
surround
Like some sort of
Sahar.
amber temple of some kind.
They have perhaps that have tentacles carved upon them that are entwined around marble bas reliefs of royal figures, kings, queens, pharaohs, and sultans attended by just tons of slaves.
So basically, anywhere we would go, he just has a fucking teleportation thing.
We need
straight
to
there.
destroy this before we leave. Otherwise, he can just. That's how he gets places so fast. He has
Besides
teleportation.
horse.
Well, yeah, but the horse still has a movement speed. This is instant.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
There's also a spot that has a bunch of like shards of amber, as if something's been broken or crumbled like a little ways away. There's like some more specifics, but with the time, that's like
Okay.
that's about Sahar can get. And when Sahar comes back, instead of communicating, Sahar's cold. Sahar is like cold to your touch, at least for a couple of
I'll
moments.
try to warm him up.
It's
Using prestidigitation, just make my hands warm.
answers to any questions you ask are joined by shivers. After a little bit, warms up.
That's
if
what
we
the
had
Ahri
that
was talking
elf
about.
with us, we could have fucking
Here you
just
go.
teleported directly there.
Next is the indigo stone, which leads, according to the inscription, to Master's Bride.
It's already.
That'd be convenient.
I was more joking. It's probably a bunch of
Probably has multiple wives.
Yeah, probably.
I'm expecting fucking
Okay.
like in Dracula,
3 or 4.
probably 3. That's how many was in the book. They're probably gonna try to keep it like a reference.
Sahar comes out in a room that has a number of unlit lanterns that hang from rafters. There's also a rope that dangles from a large bell lodged in what appears to be a belfry, like 30 feet overhead. The room,
Like a belfry, like a chapel.
yeah, okay.
But we've been to the chapel here. Unless he has another chapel, which would be weirdly religious
This
for the
is
Lord
not
of
that
Evil.
chapel.
Okay.
Like immediately.
Does the stone look
Sahar
similar,
can
or
tell.
does it look like?
There's more wood than stone here, which is
Huh.
the first. Like,
So
kind of
it's
giveaway.
probably not in. This is probably not Castle Ravenloft.
So he doesn't
You
keep
could
his
be pretty
wife
certain.
with him. He's like, no, you don't have to live with me. Yeah, I'm dead.
Well, it might refer to the Master's Bride in a. Yeah, I have no idea.
Since
I-
before he became a
I don't
monster.
know.
The only source of
I don't know what
light
the fuck
in
that
this
is.
room is a small oil lamp that's on top of like a filth-covered crate, and there's a humanoid under or a humanoid shape under like a black shroud lying on like a cot that has hay and other filler spilling out of it.
Before I summon Sahar back, because he has generally about 30 seconds, is that enough time to like grab the shawl and like move it and see what that is?
I'm going to answer depending on what they give me here.
So I want to know what the fuck that is.
Maybe it's
Active.
a human wife
Okay.
body. Maybe it's a human wife body, like Ed was saying.
I'm just trying to find what's actually under there at the moment.
Mummified and everything.
Real quick.
Exploding runes.
I would hope not. That would
I'll
be.
just resummon them.
Okay.
Things.
Sahar does have enough time, just enough time, to start pulling it off. And as you can see, can you hear through Sahar too? Or
Yeah, I take over his senses. I can
Okay.
see it here.
just enough time to start pulling the thing off and hear a voice from like part of the darkness of the room shout, What are you doing with that? As like the thing is pulled off, and there is the form of a partially skinless woman, at least like face wise, and there are like some really gnarly like short but deep cuts around like one side of the face, and there's an eye that's like crooked. Like you'd think it's just a sphere, so it'd be kind of hard to tell, but like it's almost like it's been packed in there a little bit, like a frozen grape. This is as much as you're able to catch as something shouts at Sahar, and Sahar runs out of time.
Does it look like a does it with my medicine skill, can I tell, obviously I don't have time to physically like inspect it, but I was able to look at it. Can I tell if this was a body that's been cut apart or a body that's been like put together? Is this some like Frankenstein corpse bitch, or like
Frankenstein's
I
bride,
would
but
give
instead
you a roll,
Strahd's bride.
but you can't be statistically certain, but you feel like your first hunch is accurate.
someone who's being
And
cut
someone
apart?
was- No, someone trying to make someone.
Oh, okay.
That eyeball wasn't packed out. It was
Right,
packed.
it was packed. Well, that's why I asked, because I had suspicion. What?
It's not too much for
the
you.
fuck?
And then Krishna's cocking his
Maybe he
side.
wants Irina not for Irina,
It's in the
but
dark,
because
yeah.
Irina shares a feature with like his human wife.
His human.
Life looked
If
like
I
Anguish
assume,
Warina.
yeah, if I assume that painting was his human wife, they look exactly the same. Why wouldn't he just take her?
Irina is probably a reincarnation of his human wife, judging by. Well, I mean, if it was similar to Dracula.
Right.
Sahar doesn't have dark vision?
Sahar does have
Sahar's
dark
dark vision.
Oh, my bad. I wasn't even thinking about that. But never mind. It's not a figure. It's a figure in the darkness. But Sahar sees it. This hunched, like scraggly looking figure with like tufts of like hair and fur that like stick
Like a
out on
hunchback
parts of his
dude?
body.
Like some Igor dude?
Beyond. He's
Oh.
partially scaled.
Whoa,
Like
what the
his
fuck?
eyes, his eyes aren't like bulbous, but they do bulge like a little bit, and like they're yellowed. Like they're not completely yellow, but still they're not
So
white.
it's like some kind of beast
Nose is
man?
kind of kind of like.
Have I ever seen something like that? Well, I probably haven't seen, but have I ever heard about weird... Are there beastmen in Barovia that I know about?
I will say that
Besides
living here,
werewolves.
you have heard
Like, probably rumors?
tales of things that, while you thought before the term mongrel folk was some sort of like slur somebody invented,
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that sounds kind of racist as shit.
now
Yeah,
seeing
a
it for
little
yourself, you're like, kind of.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Depending on your own proclivities, you might not
So
call
I
it that,
guess
but like,
Corpse bride, I guess.
So there's some Frankenstein motherfucker out there building a bride for Strahd, maybe, and has some, like, Igor Beastman follower. And it's in a church that isn't... Because we've been to the church in Barovia, we've been to the church here, and we've been to the church in Vallaki.
Yeah.
Which logically only leaves... The only other town that's in this game is Kresik, right?
Yeah.
Only other like
The only
set
other one
settlement.
that we know
the
of.
only other big town that's marked on your map.
So, if that place is anywhere, I mean, unless there's a church randomly out in like the wilderness, which I guess is possible.
But using the information you have,
It seems like it's likely at Krezk.
best.
Start with the C or K.
Krezk. Pretty sure. Because when
I'm
we saw
pretty
the
sure
map originally, it
I'm
was on
pretty sure
there.
too.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. You in character know how. You all in character know how it's spelled.
Is there one
That's-
more stone?
Yes.
Very strange.
Oh shit. Okay.
There is a violet stone, which, according to the inscription, leads to the mountain spire.
You have minor illusion, so like you can show us inanimate object that resembles what you see.
Okay.
That sounds like a cool way to tell people things. If I'm a firm wizard, I'll do that.
It's like cool to be like a Kinku illusionist and you speak through illusions instead of speaking.
That sounds kind of interesting. The last
It
one
would be
was
really
hard.
cool to play a shapeshifter and tell everyone to play like a changeling, and then whenever you needed to explain something to someone, do it like they do in Super Mario RPG, where you turn into them and like pantomime it.
That would also be dope.
That'd be kind of funny.
That would be
Yeah.
And then if you get multiple, you could have the time where Mario turns into Bowser and Bowser turns into Mario, and they both look at each other and they're like, wait. It's a much easier way we could be doing this.
Flying through this last one to Mountain's Peak brings Sahar to a room. Sahar is able to see, like, immediately behind it, like a door that's made out of wood and it's got like iron bands around it.
Okay.
And furthermore, there is a cold hearth that stands across from that door.
Okay.
And there's howling wind that comes down from its chimney. There's also a stone staircase, like, along a southern wall, and several windows. Sahar, like, flies over to one window and looks out and sees a veritable sea of fog outside of it.
I have a question. Detect Magics has a range of 30 feet, but
Yeah.
it affects you that allows you to see the things, right? So logically, wouldn't Sahar see anything within 30 feet of it that's magical?
Well,
Or you have to cast it on Sahar.
no, it doesn't work that way. I don't think
Okay.
Okay.
they don't share spells the same way.
That'd be an interesting fucking way to be a detective, though.
It would be. It is also, for what it's worth, cold. Sahar is once again cold when he comes back from here.
As cold as the Amber Temple.
Yes.
Is there a
Once
mountain?
again, it like huddles.
When
In the
the
fog.
elf told me about the Amber Temple, he roughly told me where it was, right?
I don't think he did in that instance, but I'm willing to say that through talking, I'm sure it's come up a little bit.
Do I know? Is there like a mountain that leads to it? Because he said it was up on a mountain, right? Like I could have swore I remember him saying that the Amber Temple was up on like some mountain.
I'm pretty sure he said something like that, and that it would be extremely cold. That's
Yeah, that sounds accurate.
Did he mention which mountain?
I don't think he did, but, and I'm willing to go back and correct this if I have to, I'm of the belief that there's only one, like, big, famous mountain, or big, notable mountain range in Barovia.
Do I know what that is?
So it might be on two different
Yeah.
sides.
I'm just not sure if I have the right name for it off the top of my head, but, like, you know.
Then once that is done and I bring Sahar back and warm him up, I will say, alright, I know where this goes.
should we let him in?
Where's the rest?
Through there.
Yeah.
You know, leave cracked. Should be fine. Stay.
So I've gazed upon all the locations that the inscriptions speak of.
Huh.
Furthermore, I don't think I said this before Actually, no. I'm going to check something. Never mind. But yes.
I think like after the first 3. Oh,
And I am willing to go back and confirm things if anything got missed.
21 on that perception check on the if they're.
I apologize.
I personally forgot as well.
Well, you don't notice tracks. You do notice scuff marks on the floor, as if something large and heavy, made of coarse, perhaps stone-like material, has moved through here. So they're not on tracks, but there's evidence to suggest that they can move. Though they have left you alone for thus far, so
Do you point it out?
who knows?
Yes. They do move. Appears that they move or can be moved.
They're magical as well. Don't touch them. They might be some sort of golem.
I do not believe that I
Maybe
mentioned.
some sort of defense.
If someone were to try to destroy it,
Well, it makes sense.
Hmm.
He would want his teleportation device protected. Out of character, from looking, can I tell what the statues are made out of? Are they stone or are they iron?
You're looking, and they appear to be made out of some like dark metal material. You're no metal specialist, but it's metal and it's not stone.
Alright, but I know what an iron golem is, and I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure I'm looking at one.
those are the bad ones, right? Like the you don't want to
They're
fuck with
really
these.
strong. They're really, really strong. I'll say, well, then we will leave it alone for now. Perhaps at some future date. But
Could
not
you-
now.
Could you still access this magic if we were to take the stones?
If we take the stones, it might activate the golems. Plus, we will need the stones here for when we go to the library. Let's leave it for now. Let us go find his tomb. I would go and find it on foot so that we know the way back here. And then once we have obtained the treasure of the tomb, we head to this library, obtain that treasure, and then I will find Irina. Let's go.
Wondering
Doing so may perhaps be more difficult than you might anticipate.
in the room.
I wouldn't mess with them.
Yeah.
If those are 2 iron golems and they fight us right now, we will probably lose. So let's just not fuck with it.
Magic, aren't they?
No, they're not immune to magic, but they're really, really strong. And we don't need to fuck with something right now when we have other shit we need to do.
Fair.
So let's just fucking go.
Well, how much do you trust Sasha's warnings? I think he's
Magical stuff. So far, he's been on all of his warnings. So at least his, I'll take into account.
There are 3 different stairs that leave this room, all along the back wall.
Do any of them look like they're going upwards?
All 3 of them go upwards.
We are
Left.
Yeah.
But I will say, from
Wait, hold
where
on.
you're standing, you can see the landing of one of the stairs. Like, you can see it stop and, like, go down a hallway, as opposed to the rightmost, which is a spiral staircase that, like, you can't see, and the leftmost staircase, which is long enough that you can't see the end of. If that changes.
Then let's go
anything.
the straight one. Actually, real quick, judging from where I saw the tomb with my arcane eye and where we entered into this area, which one of these do I think leads to Strahd's tomb? Or at least more of the catacombs.
Honestly,
If I can't tell, we'll just take the middle one.
Well, I'm
it's
trying to
that.
think because you can probably. Okay. So you have a vague sense that from where you are, the catacombs are somewhere this way.
To my right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, that is the same way that the hallway of the landing of the middle stair goes, assuming that the spiral staircase doesn't, like, surprise you, and assuming this other one doesn't loop around back. So, does the group want to ascend the center stairs?
Seems to be the shorter path. Why not?
I'm more pitching to the two of you in the back who are quiet and keeping to yourselves.
Yeah, sure.
Smell.
The also thing about a ranger is the ability to know what direction. What is it?
Yeah. Well, I suppose this is true. I guess you technically can't be lost. Though, well, we'll see about that.
If it's a magical misdirection.
Yeah, that's the magical. Which makes me wonder if I went through the top, or would I be able to tell what direction I'm in? But
I would think so.
But
That's me.
Yeah,
exactly 300 miles from my friends.
it's kind of
This is a problem.
It's kind of pointless anyway.
Once you have ascended the stairs, you come to a hallway that turns to the right. It is relatively narrow, in that you will have to walk single file through it.
Okay.
It is cold in here, but no more cold than the rest of the castle.
Take up the front.
There is, Sasha notices, a layer of fog upon the floor that's reminiscent of the catacombs.
Okay. Then I will.
Hallway itself
Now remember,
is 120 feet
for purposes
in
of
length.
detecting
With a stone door at the end.
teleportation traps, I have continuous detect magic up because I don't want to fucking walk onto one of those motherfuckers again. Well, technically he did it, but whatever.
Should you be in second then?
Sure. I'll be in second,
I'll
and
be
then
third.
Well, if the range is 30 feet, then
Was it 30 feet
Oh,
out
wait,
or was
no.
it 15 and then 15 back the other way?
never mind. I
30
think you
feet.
guys.
Ah,
I think you guys got it going on, so it's okay. You said second.
Yeah.
Who was first?
Siguror, then me, then Ahri, then Crack.
then Surge, then Isaac.
It doesn't make sense as it can be all the way back. Crack can be moved up and then me, then you, then Sigurd.
Do you want to be somewhere else?
I'm gonna be third.
And unless directed otherwise, Isaac will take the back. That's for me. 20 feet down the hallway. Sigurd kicks something that starts making an awful racket. You didn't see it in the fog, but like there's something small and metal is banging against something small and metal, and like within, like near your foot, the
See if
sounds
I
of
can-
banging echo through the hall.
See if I can stop it from moving with my foot. Not to stop it, but or stomp it, but to like stop it from moving. Then try to investigate it because it's in the fog.
You stomp and you hear like a crunching
Oh,
sound.
no, step on it to stop it from moving, not to stomp it, because I don't know what it is.
You are assaulted on your ankle very, very mildly from like two different directions. And once you like grab it, you bring up a toy. It's a monkey, only the monkey's head has no like flesh upon it. It's just like a skeletal monkey face, and it has symbols. It's clapping.
there a mechanism to turn it off?
You're not finding one.
Another for your collection.
Are you done playing with dolls?
I'll look blatantly down to the Irina dolls.
Well, it's still clapping. Like, you look for a way to turn it off. Like, there's no obvious way.
Whip its arms off.
Crush it.
You crush it. It attempts to bring its symbols together a little more. There's some grinding from within. Then maybe after like a couple seconds, it stops. Looking it over, you did notice it doesn't have an obvious way to turn it off, but it does have a tag reading "Is no fun, is no blinksy."
Thanks, Blixie.
This looks like a toy every child would love.
Yeah, all these toys are dark as fuck. Let's keep going.
The kids love it.
The kids are soulless hell beasts.
Well, who would expect the children?
The group continues
Anyone who's seen the Omen?
down the hallway.
Or children in the corn?
They're not souls. They're just worshiping a dark god. Whereas Damien in the Omen is literally the Antichrist. It's all for you.
I tried playing those Lucius games when they were on sale on Steam. They're not made very well. Like at all.
The mist swirls around your feet as you advance boldly through the hallway. About halfway through, Siguror feels the floor give out from under him. And his scent
Try to
plummeting.
grab.
Okay, you can. I'll take a. I was gonna say reflex. Reflex isn't a thing.
And
Dexterity.
I'll take a dex with advantage because you weren't expecting it.
would this count for danger sense? Advantage on dex saving throws against scene effects, traps, and spells. Can't be blind, deaf, or
No, so
incapacitated.
go for it. And the group, instead of the last trap, where this time it was kind of obscured, this time the group
said-
actually sees the compartment open up.
You
And
said
like,
disadvantage?
Oh, I did not hear that portion.
No, you didn't see it, so it makes sense.
11.
you managed to like slap like the top of the passage that you were swinging down into. There's a chute to the side that's actually headed like back in the direction like you came from. That you see Siguror like fall through and slide.
I can't help you.
Yeah, just slap.
You go hurtling through a smooth, cold, black stone chute until you are deposited face first into a bunch of water. But it tastes awful, and some of it gets like in your nose. The group of you like hear like sliding after seeing him like disappear, and then hear a splash.
Just know we're not paranoid enough to tie ropes around our sons.
I mean, we do have 50 people.
I don't know,
We
I
could try
think-
and see if it'll go down.
I think 4 people could have potentially stopped me. Well, 3 and
I forgot about Isaac. Maybe. That would have been exciting. Strength checks should all go in.
Yeah, the 2 people closest to Seer have a negative strength score. It's not happening.
Is it
Wow.
dark?
Area 51 style, he can't drag us all down.
He could drag a good portion of it.
Is it dark?
I will send Sahar down the hatch after him. Just fly down there.
Okay.
Try to figure out where he is.
Sahar flies. You cough and sputter and like look up, and you actually recognize where you are. You are in part of the dungeon from before. You see cells. You see the werewolf that you left behind, who is currently not shouting. However, there's a new person in here, a pale, pointy-eared figure that looks upon Siguror with fascination and remarks, "A victim of one of the castle's traps. Tell me, are you alone?" In a couple moments.
Can I tell if he's like a vamp?
Yes.
Okay.
He's not even trying to hide it. He smiles a little bit. He's delighted to have found you.
You seen it, so?
Okay. Oh, am I deposited into a cell?
Yes. This guy's on the outside of one.
Oh.
He's looking at you.
Great.
Why don't you come in and find out? I'm just trying to get closer to the door, but I'll wait, see if I can kick it open.
You taught him. And he goes, "Perhaps I will teach you not to value those muscles so much." And it's at this point that Sahar flies. The vampire looks. A bird.
Can I take on our senses?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
You see there's a very obvious vampire looking quite curiously at Sahar as Siguror is moving towards the cell door, which is currently closed. And you try it and it's locked.
Fuck. Are you serious?
Is he right next to the door?
He's a couple feet from the door.
Oh, okay. So it's
He's not
from the
right
window,
up
I
there.
can't just stab the spear out at him.
Egg him on.
You could try.
It doesn't
Spear's
have
kinda long.
reach. It doesn't have reach,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I would let you try with disadvantage because you're trying to do it through the bars, but he's close enough to technically hit him.
I will turn to the others and I will say, he's down in the dungeon.
Should we turn around and go back?
Could Sahar tell that the dungeon door was locked? Like when I had over his senses, did I hear him try the door and
You see Siguror go over to the door and try it.
How
as the
fucked
vampire
up is the door?
crack? He's locked in.
Still
Head down
looks
there through the chute. Ahri and I will head back the normal way and help you.
Try and
We don't all want to be in there just
bash it
in
off
case.
the hinges, I guess. Or I know it's padlocked from the other side.
One of you needs to go down there and help him. And I do not know how to operate lockpicks, so it needs to be you or you.
I'll go. If you want.
Fine. Ahri, go down there. We will go and head back the normal way.
Slide down the chute.
Okay.
And I'm gonna start running back the way we fucking came.
The normal, or the vampire, remarks, a bird. And then you, rattle and say, just where do you think you are? And there's, a sound of, some sliding that, the vampire picks up on, you pick up on, and all of a sudden, Ahri splashes down.
The hinges are rusty. Is the locking mechanism rusty? I suppose it's a better question.
Yeah. These cells are not that well maintained. If you want to break it, it's possible.
To give it a shot.
And when Ahri, splashes down, the figure goes, you must be the guests. The master will want to know that you're here.
But don't tell the master.
And he turns to the world you left behind. You will have more company soon, I bet. The dwarf turns and slams his cell, which rattles. The vampire and then turns. He has a bit of a cloak, so he actually does the thing.
David,
Yes.
can I get Xanathars?
Sure. He does the whip thing and then starts running back.
I think I'll just blast with his gonna run away.
You can do that, but it will be initiative.
Do I think it'd be easier
You want to
to
finish it first?
Yes.
try and yank the door off, or take the spear and pry the lock off?
23.
Definitely yank. Prying the lock off will be a matter of finesse.
Son of a bitch.
You did
I did not.
23.
You were gonna go first.
14. Because I assume I have to roll initiative as well.
Yes.
14.
One is a 20 to hit, the other is a 15 to hit. Wait. Yeah, 15 to hit.
Now, I'm not going to take. Obviously, I'm not there, I can't take actions. But Sahar is going to. I will telepathically communicate to Sahar to tell him to follow him. So that if he does escape from them, me and Kraken try to cut him off. He's going to follow at a bit of a distance so he can't just turn around and attack him. But follow him close enough that, you know, if he does escape.
What did you say your attack rolls were again?
20 and 15.
Those are both hits.
Well, we were attacked by swarms of bats or
One-
holy knows we're here.
One does 14 damage, the other does 8.
Communicates with all the bats in his
12 damage and 8 damage?
Yeah.
Also, the vampire said the master
No,
will want to know
14
about
and
this, which seems to imply that
14
he
and
doesn't
8.
necessarily
14
know.
and 8.
Or if he knows we're here, he doesn't know the exact location of where we are.
Or the
Those are Eldritch Blasts, right?
Yeah.
Ahri blasts twice, wounding the vampire who. He's not stopping. He got really low initiative, so it's.
Okay. I am going to rage and go for the door. Just try and rip it off and try to get to one. Nobody fucking runs after talking.
does he move
What is it? Just be a
into other side doors?
Well, the vampire is going to leave, but
Yeah, I'm like,
not yet.
Maybe
Push.
it's a teleportation circle.
Oh.
push.
Is there a direction you were trying? I'll
It's
say
away
since
from
you're in
him.
the cell, like logically,
It's
you actually managed to like bash him into like the opposing cell. I wasn't thinking about that. So technically, he did slam into
okay.
some cell doors.
To rip the door off, would this be a strength check? Or something?
I believe so.
Okay. Rage, damage on strength checks. So 9 to... that would be a 15. 14. 14.
You pull, and it almost works. Like you pull it, but in the course of pulling it, you also like let it twist, and it kind of like gets stuck in the way. So you will need to do it again, but you technically broke it.
Might be able to attack the door then.
Why don't you just try pushing it? Doors, these cell doors when the outwards, not they? Or do they slide across like this?
Well, he said the next time you'll be able to get it, so just do it again on your next turn. Right? You said you broke it, you just need one more?
Yeah.
Was
I
I
was
wondering if
thinking-
that would count
I
as
was thinking-
interaction or if I can still attack.
And that's why I paused for a bit. I was thinking, maybe, and then like around the time that you were like, we'll just do it again. I was like, technically that would be his action. So like, yeah. I paused because I was calculating, as opposed to other times where I'm just confused. The two of you are racing down the halls, back to the dungeon.
I can move go and move 80 feet. So
You do move super fast.
Yeah.
So you could probably outpace. Because at this point, I'm going to say, technically some other stuff happens, but like at this point, the two of you like reach the brazier room, so you don't have to be like behind the other at this point. So if you chose to run ahead, you could. And of course, when you reach the platform, Sasha dramatically leaps in an effort to save time. It hurts, but it's better than losing speed. Meanwhile, Vampire goes, and
wait.
Fall damage makes you fall.
No, it doesn't. Well, I mean, it does, but it wasn't fall. It was 10 feet down. I
Yeah,
think you meant
so
hurts
it should
of,
be
like,
fine.
5
Oh,
yes. Not to take the sting out of it. Flavor.
How long
flavor.
does it take to get down there? Like, how long have we been?
How long?
From the jail cells.
Yeah. Like, how far away is the jail cells? Like 20 minutes away?
I'm going to say with you guys running, I'm going to say it's 10 more.
More than 10 minutes? Then, as I run, I'm going to be ritual casting fantasy.
The vampire makes his retreat, though the two of you just see the vampire leave through the door. Sahar, following him, sees him start heading back the way you guys entered. Nudge, he reaches the spiral staircase before this turn of his ends. Then, technically and factually, is back to back to Ahri.
I'm gonna prepare to run through the door and get as much distance as I can towards the vampire once Siguror opens the door.
Alright, that's on you.
Okay. Is it another check or is it literally just
No, you can just push it.
Okay.
You got close enough that it's you just twisted it. You were pulling it through.
Alright.
Just bam.
With my 40 feet of movement, can I reach him if I charge? Or dash?
Would your action be pushing the thing off? How would you be able to dash after?
Well, because I'm wondering if that was
Technically,
just...
yes.
Yes.
You were technically using your action to push the door out. You don't need a check, but you still got to do it.
Okay. I thought that would still be interaction, so it's literally just pushing
One
the door off. Well, that's why I asked.
It's just like drawing a weapon, not throwing a wall.
Situation might be different. It depends.
Opening a door is one of the things.
Does that mean
There's a difference between opening an unlocked door and
does that mean 30 feet for you then?
40 feet's my normal movement.
Oh.
So I mean, if I
So
can
you
still...
are able to get through the door, water splashing all around you as you charge out the hallway. You can see down the hallway, way down the hallway and the stairs. You can see he's in the process of making his escape, and at this point you can also hear your comrades, or what you would assume were your comrades coming from the other way, because you can hear the splashing and the sound of Sasha incanting something that was quite low.
Vampires are fucking fast. I forgot about that.
And they can climb on things.
And I can't attack, so that's mine.
Well, I held action.
Yeah.
with the
Oh,
other
yes,
things,
like-
And then you rush out. How much do you want?
60 if I'm counting the dash.
You can,
I
no,
don't.
wait.
Well, if you're not
Does it
doing
work?
I was thinking something.
I don't see why not. So unfortunately for this part, he's got a head start. It's not that great. Because on his turn, he starts rushing up the staircase, but he's not gonna make it all the way up the staircase. Go.
The staircase is a spiral staircase?
Yeah.
Is there walls around? Or is it completely open?
There are walls around it.
So I can't blast him off of the staircase?
Unfortunately not. It is a cool idea though. He's now ascended the staircase that you guys came down here on. It is back to the two of you. It's been 10 minutes, so once you've gotten
Well,
there,
I have 100 feet
Speed.
of speed. At that point, now I should know that's my horse's movement, so I can still take an action after that. So if my horse, technically my horse is a creature, so it can move and then take an action, right? So it can get 200 feet forward. Is that enough to get me within distance of casting a spell? Or like to get me to the stairs?
I'm going to say it is enough to get you to the stairs and like a little up to the point where you can hear him and you're like close.
But I can see.
No, if only because like
Sahar.
of the curve.
Okay.
Sahar, I guess could see him, but I don't think that's how spells work.
Sahar can see him?
Yeah, 'cause
well,
Sahar's following.
not all spells require line of effect, actually.
Yeah, well, okay.
Like if I don't shoot a fireball.
You.
Actually, once I get within 200 feet of him, I'm going to cast a Mind Spike. Since it's a mental blast, I assume it can go through at least like a little bit of the wall, right? I'm not like shooting anything, I'm hurting his mind. And it has a 60-foot range,
Unless correct.
and I can see him through Sahar. So, Sio, Tadishi, Pecto, and I will cast Mind Spike upon him. He needs to make a Wisdom saving throw. I believe, against DC 16.
You got a lot of it. I'll say that's enough to take you to like the foot of the stairs. You can't quite keep pace with the steed, but like you're fast. Unless you
Steve's magics.
Yeah. And the two of you get to see one of your companions rush upon a spectral steed, and another one of your companions just move really fast. It's kind of like I'm forgetting, but the movie where Black Panther made his debut, and he's like running as fast as cars.
Yeah.
Only
Captain
Crack is not as fast as cars, but close.
Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
No, not Winter Soldier. Fucking,
Oh, so
Civil War, thank you.
was it Civil War?
Yeah.
Wait, he didn't have his own movie before Civil War?
Nope.
No.
That's weird.
He's also pretty good in Civil War. I haven't seen Black Panther, so maybe.
Well, neither did Spider-Man.
It's pretty good up until the ending. And the ending's only bad because the CGI is
Yeah,
almost
right, right.
It wasn't Civil War, it was civil dispute. Let's talk about this.
Okay, he fails Mind Spike, so he takes 18 psychic damage. Additionally, I always know his location for the next hour, as long as we're on the same plane of existence. While I have this knowledge, the target cannot become hidden from me, and if it's invisible, it gains no benefit from the condition. Which basically means that I'll no longer have advantage for attacking because it's not.
You hear the
I
creature.
effectively see it now.
Nice.
You hear the creature retch upon the stairs, and the knowledge of his positioning floods into your mind, further confirming that you've been successful.
Additionally, because I cast a divination spell, second level, I can get back a first level spell slot due to my expert divination feature, which triggers it. Since Mind Spike is a divination spell.
This would put it back around to Ahri's turn.
Do I have line of sight to the vampire? No. Then, I'll run up the stairs 30 feet. Do it within 30 feet. Do I have line of sight? Or do I have to just
When you initially left the part of the dungeon you were in, did I see you got further than
I ran 60 feet last turn.
that? Okay. Then this time you were able to get up. You were not able to quite get line of sight on him, but you were able to get close.
Then I'll just take the dash after run the extra 30 feet.
Okay. Then you are able to barely, not so barely, catch up to the vampire. You see, he's got a hand on the wall, and he's kind of breathing a little heavy. He's been harmed further by your companion. You see, he's kind of getting roughed up, but he's doing his best. He spots you and saying, surprised
So-
and attempts to play it off.
Can I technically quicken Eldritch Blast them since I took my action to dash? I
Yeah.
can still do that.
You can quicken any spell because it becomes a bonus action.
Alright.
Damn, what kind of sorcery is
And again,
this?
if you Eldritch Blast him, you push him away from us.
Towards you.
You're in front of him?
I'm behind him.
I'm not
Can
You're
you
in-
push him to the side? Or is it...
You're at the top of the stairs and down.
No.
No. He's gotten back to the point where I'm not in front of him anymore.
Oh,
We didn't manage to cut him off because we were so far away.
okay.
We're all behind him in the stairwell.
Though, it's gonna be really difficult for him to get away from you guys now.
If you have some spell that can stop him.
I don't know if I have a spell that specifically stops him. I have one that's
Old vampire.
old vampire. Sure.
Well, Eldritch Blast for your effect is supposed to say knock back or move.
It's an effect, and it's
knocks
not
him straight in a straight line away from me.
Do you have another cantrip?
I have chill
Or
touch.
magic missile?
I have
Chill touch will prevent him from regenerating on his turn.
that's true. Yeah, I'll chill touch him, I guess. That's 2d8.
But this level should be 2d8. Should make an attack roll as well.
26 to hit
That is a hit.
for 9 damage, and he doesn't regenerate.
That is some damage. He's harmed. Wait. He is harmed, though you feel your spell could have been more effective.
Preventing regeneration is nice.
So it is cold damage, right?
It's
It's necrotic. It is now Sigurd's turn.
Would I be able to reach him with 40, or do I have to dash for more than 40?
I'm pretty sure he's just enough out of the way that you can dash to get to him this turn.
Okay. I can dash, and then I can use the feature Goring Rush. Because as I use the dash action as part of my move, I can tap with my horns.
Okay. Sounds good.
It's a bonus action, so I can't use the hammering horns portion, but it's better than nothing.
Just wondering when you're going to do that.
I've used it before. Sure. And yeah, I'll reference the attack with the horns. To hit.
That is a hit.
13 damage. The horns are magical, so.
You rocket up the stairs and slam into him, goring him with your horns. He retches, his stale blood is spilled upon the stone floors.
There's no way I could try and make the horns like a makeshift stake, right? Stake rules for sacred vampires very specific.
I'm gonna say, at least in this instance, no. You're busy. He's running, you're running. They're not organized turns in the actual flow. So you get him, you're like, that'd be cool if I got him in the heart. But
Fair.
maybe. And then he moves a little. It's like, ah, and no, I
He
didn't.
is. Oh, well, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter, but he's surrounded now, so. He tries to attack
And
anything.
ancestors also surround him. It's just not his day, really.
Give up.
It is such not
quick.
his day as that he doesn't crumple, but he takes a lower stance to the floor around the people who are up there. So I guess the three of you.
Yeah.
Somewhere there's a panty. Who's doing his best. And Crack is close. He's just not in frame. And he goes, okay. I will submit to your power if you let me go. I can tell you about the castle. I can be a guide.
I'm just gonna point backwards back. No, you're not going forward. That's the only direction for potential.
Do we reach him?
Here.
Drag it up to him.
Yeah, you guys are essentially around him when he tries to make this proposal on his turn.
Oh yeah, I'm just stalling for time. I'm
Okay.
not letting him live.
There have been things that have changed in the castle. Something has been moved. Something important to the master. You would like to know this, yes?
Seal the dish. Back up. I cast detect thoughts. Is he lying to us?
He is not. You get surface thoughts of I very much don't want to die. I don't want to die. I can't die now that I've attained eternal life. You also catch a bit about, him desperately hoping that you will be interested in this. Really hope that they'll be interested in the information that I have.
What is the
I
information?
know that some stuff has moved.
Do not lie to me.
First you have to agree to let me go. You must promise. And you get the surface thought of him going, like him thinking that he desperately hopes that you will be interested in the information that he has, despite the fact that he doesn't really know that much. Like you catch in his head, he's super hopeful that you'll want the information, even though the information is literally some stuff has been
Try to
moved this
intimidate
important,
him.
and he vaguely knows where it is.
Would I be able to just roll intimidate?
He can give you a direction in the castle to where something was moved, but that's it.
Well, you said he wanted to intimidate.
Just try and grab and roll intimidate. That depends on how good the information is.
Go ahead. He's also pretty hurt, and he's surrounded by your ancestors, so you can take that with advantage if you would like.
Sure. 20. First roll is 17, then a 14. Try not to do a 4.
Down, nearly out, metaphorically speaking, he is made fearful. You're especially tall compared to him. He's like, hey, no, sorry, I was wrong before. Your muscles are supreme. You're all supreme masters. You especially. I humbly offer to you.
What has been moved?
I don't know, but it's important
Where
to
was
the
it
master,
moved from?
and it has been moved. It has been taken to the southern part of the castle, which matches up with his surface thought about what he has.
How recent, I suppose? How recent?
Or no, he doesn't pause. He goes, a week ago.
That's when he got Arena, right?
Yeah.
Where is the woman he brought here?
I think she is. I think she is. I think she's with him.
Where?
I mean, we just saw him not that long.
Yeah.
Upstairs. In the throne room, I believe.
That's not what we
Surface
found.
thoughts? Maybe he's
That's
just-
fucking great. Then I will.
Surface thoughts, he's taken off guard and actually has to think for a little bit, and he recalls earlier today when he saw Strahd and his newest bride, though he notes it in his head as the woman that Gertruda is pissed at going through.
I will say, has she been turned yet? Is she like you?
No, not yet.
In this place, is there a fortress? A fortress within a fortress?
And out of character, I'm going to consider what would he think? He goes, the guard towers. They're like a fortress.
Also in character,
some type.
where have you seen a painting of a woman above a fire?
We already
Mm,
know.
What character we saw?
Yeah, but we don't exactly know what part of the castle do we?
Oh, it's in a
Library.
Well, yeah. Where's the library?
It's and he starts fearfully describing directions to the library.
Okay.
And you get a surface thought about how that's a weird question, but he's really hopeful that if he pleases his new masters.
This is what we got for the gems.
If he pleases his new masters, it certainly must mean they let him go. He's frightful.
Out of character, he's a spawn, right? He's not a vampire. So he only has one master.
Well,
so
the new masters that intimidated / beat him.
okay, fucking.
He's ready to sell out. It's in the process it is in the process of doing so mainly because he was intimidated to give it up first.
I will ask him. That's where. What else is in the south part of the castle? Where the thing was moved.
And he starts listing things in the south part of the castle.
Relevant.
I didn't foresee an interrogation.
We don't care about the kitchen.
He like names off stuff that's like in the castle. You like shake.
Where?
Like relevant. And he seems to assume that by relevant you mean connected to like the study, and he starts like tracing back stuff that's connected to the study.
I'll stop him and I will say, where in the south has this object been moved?
I don't know. And out of character, you knew that like he didn't know. He was hoping that you would like do the deal first because he doesn't know that much.
Then I will
Remove
say,
eyes from it for a second, look over at Sasha, hold out javelin from behind me, or point back to cells.
As you start to shift, he doesn't see exactly what you're doing, but he goes, "But I could find out. I could find out. I could ask. I could learn."
oh, creature, we made the deal to free you. We will free you now.
Yes.
Look, how's Firebolt.
Yeah.
The keyboard.
Yeah, you guys can all attack him too. It's just.
It's gonna take like a little bit of effort, but like
I don't have a stake,
You
but
want me to attack? Or?
No, it's fine.
I don't have a stake with javelin to the heart.
2 spears.
Oh,
Thanks,
I guess it's for all killing.
You blast. He's lit on fire. He
This
starts
guy over
howling.
here is just like, I don't have magic
You
energy.
blast.
Blast, this sucks.
You blast and you blast, and as like his body starts like twisting and writhing and blackening, there's a moment where like there's a pause and he's smoking, but he's like still hanging on, and you fucking jab him from your part, and, like, and then he starts to collapse and dust away, leaving you with your thoughts, some more information, and a break. And we're back. The group having dispatched, or rather freed, the vampire spawn after learning some information about things that have transpired in the castle, you're now free to resume your course.
Let us continue.
We're
They
going-
might have moved the treasure, but we need to double check. Madame Ava's prophecy, I'm not sure can be broken so easily.
We don't have to check all of them though, right? We need to just check one.
I suppose, yes.
So are we to go back?
Yes. Now, Siguror, you stay behind Crack. Crack, you check for traps so this does not happen again. So when we get back to that hallway, we'll do, like that.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask.
I would also hold up a rope and motion it to yourself.
Alright.
Tie it around arms, that way then. There we go.
Alright.
Do you need perception checks from me?
Yeah.
Guidance.
Given guidance.
Oh, man.
So I'm second in line, whatever, they'll just help out.
Yeah.
I'm still on my horse because it lasts for an hour.
Nice.
22.
Cool. You continue
Yeah,
down.
I'm re-upping my detect manager.
You slosh through, climb back up the up on the platform,
We're done using turn off the rope. We're going
through the
back.
curtain, through the room with the brazier, and then down the hallway. Mist continuing to swirl around your ankles. Crack does his best to search And as you move down the hallway, you're able to rediscover the first trap as it has reset itself. It's a space of 5 feet, so it is not too difficult to overcome once you know where it is.
Let's go around it.
And then further, like you hop. There's like a horse hop because you're on your steed. Is it like just to across? And you're able to continue down the hallway, staying further alert. You find no more traps past the initial before coming to the stone door at the end of the hallway.
Oh, you got it, Skay.
$24.
Carefully check the door. It's very old. It's got dust on it. People don't come this way. But you find no traps.
Before we go through the door, untie the rope, get it back. So we don't want to be in the middle of a fight and tie it together.
Let's let's get that door up. Is it locked?
You test the door. It is not locked. It pushes open with a loud earthen scraping sound. This is pushed inward and reveals rows upon rows of stone columns. The stone columns bearing doors and inscriptions. While I'm fishing for the exact
So these are the catacombs.
description, I'm going to say at the very least, Sasha, looking over your shoulder, is able to recognize where you are. That you've entered the catacombs a little ways, if you had to guess, from where the eye did. Like the staircase that is blocked should be fairly close.
All of these catacombs, they were all friends of the House of Barov. I would not feel any bad. I would not have any negative feelings towards taking anything useful. We should search them while we have a chance.
I suppose so.
There could be something useful in them.
You can. I will warn you, it will take quite a while. They're easily 30, if not more.
Well,
Detect magic. Unless you're open for gold.
Well, I mean, his thing's already active.
No, but I assume he was bringing it with the idea that, like, well, if we don't detect magic, then there we want, unless you want gold.
I was gonna say there could be gold inside.
Go in, see if there's anything useful, and as we're coming back,
I still think we should check them out now. We've already found useful things, and we don't want to have to revisit the catacombs next time.
should not take long if we split up.
I would not split up. There might be something in here that can attack.
So each of us as a group just check each one individually.
We will try to make it fast. We don't have to search it deeply, but I want to know what's in them. There might be stuff in here. So we killed the vampire spawn that should buy us some time.
Alright, suppose just go to one, open it, and burp.
Well, I'm gonna read the. What's the nearest one's name?
I will tell you. Let me consult the map. Because you come in a certain place. Okay. There is one that is quite close to you. Don't want to keep flipping to that page. This is the page I want. There's one Sasha draws near to. There is writing upon it. that reads
I'll
here
read
in
that
the
one.
that reads Artista de Slop, court ceiling painter.
I will repeat.
Hmm.
Can we just walk inside, or does like something have to be moved, or?
There's nothing that obstructs the door, and when Siguror tests it, there's give. It is not.
What's
Locked.
inside?
The domed ceiling of this crypt is painted with an image of imps holding bouquets of colorful flowers. A skeleton draped in rags lies atop a marble slab in the center of the crypt, and a wooden box is tucked under one of its bony hands.
Does my detect magic detect anything about the box?
It does not.
There's nothing magical about it, but you can check the box if you wish. Otherwise, let us move on to the next one.
Grab it. Pop that open.
You grab the box. Opening it shows that it contains 7 wooden-handled paintbrushes and 7 small gourds of dried-up paint.
His painting set.
Okay.
Set it back down with him.
What's the next one say?
No, I need these paintbrushes. Hey, free paintbrushes. If you don't care about stealing from the dead. Moving down the column, this next one reads Lady Isolde Yunk. Isolde the Incredible by some. Purveyor of antiques and imports.
That's what going sound
Yeah.
like.
Same thing.
Push open. It takes a little bit, like it's heavy, but it's not locked. You find that there is a skeleton draped in rags that lies atop a marble slab in the center of this crypt. Piled all around it, covering the floor, are heaps of old baskets, braziers, bundled tapestries, candlesticks, chairs, chests, cooking utensils, cressets, curtain rods, decanters, dishes, jugs, lamps, scroll cases, tankards,
Does
and
does
tinder
any of it look
boxes.
like nice
Or you
or treasure
pick that
worthy?
up.
You said scroll cases. Are there scrolls in them?
There's also an old chandelier that hangs from the ceiling.
Do I detect magic on any of it?
Chandelier is a chandelier swing.
Thanks, yeah.
You do not detect any magic in this room. Ahri takes like a nearby scroll case in hand and like pops it open, and there is something inside, but the scroll turns out to be a diagram of what appears to be a house. It's like small. It looks like it could be comfy. It's got a family name on it, but like it's nothing that you've heard of.
Does any of it look like worth anything?
Well, I mean, they are antiques. None of it has like gold or gems or anything on it, so you could probably sell it, but you'd have to like transport it.
Sell it to an antiquarian. Antiquary.
Yeah, we don't have a bag of whole things, so it's probably not worth it. What's the next one? I'm gonna check them all anyway, but if any of them sound like the tomb of some sort of wizard or spellcaster, Sasha is particularly interested.
Okay.
There might be a spell.
For the record, when you are looking at this one, you have your backs to a larger tomb that you went inside before and you know is Sergei's. But for everybody else, there's like a
Let's check
more
Sergei's
notable
first,
door.
actually. Since it's right here, we can get back to checking these, but maybe Sergei's has something on there. And make sure to check it for traps and shit. That was his brother. Oh, I'll also say as we approach, this is the tomb of Strahd's brother when he was alive, Sergei.
There is a portcullis that blocks you from the tomb, though it looks like it could possibly be moved. Running his hands and maybe something else a little less delicate over, or a little less valuable, I should say, like through and around. You don't find any traps on it.
Portcullises need to be slid open, pushed open, or...
They will need to be pulled open unless there's a mechanism, which, like, you don't find one out here.
Yeah, let's just see if we can pull it up.
Or give him guidance.
You can if you desire.
Do you need a check?
Yeah.
Okay.
Roll a d4.
It will be hard.
Or he could give him the 8 option.
I'll do that. You don't mind, David?
Sure.
26.
Even with your best grip and help, you almost don't get this thing open. This thing is really well built and resists you like a lion. But after some teeth gritting and some sweat and eye bulging, you were able to muscle it up so that you may enter.
Do I feel... Testing it a little bit, does it feel like if I let go, it's going to drop?
There's a point, I'm gonna say, where, like, it's not secured, and you, like, give it, like, an extra shove, and feel it jam, and then, like, you take your hand away, and, like, you test it a little bit, and it doesn't come back down, so you think it's safe.
That one seemed to be in one of the best conditions of any we've come across.
So it makes sense. It was his family.
The stairs are also fairly extravagant, as they are white marble.
So you're saying we should just excavate the stairs and sell them?
They allow you to descend. Into a tomb that has a vaulted ceiling that is 30 feet up. As you enter, there is a stillness, a calm amid the storm that can be felt here. In the center of the tomb, there's a white marble slab that supports an intricately inlaid coffin. Chiseled into the slab is a name, which you've already been told, but you get to see it plain before your eyes: Sergei von Zarovich. To the north, behind the coffin, are 3 alcoves. A beautifully carved statue stands in each alcove. Each stunning young man flanked by 2 angels. Or no, it's one stunning young man flanked by 2 angels. They look as polished and new as the day that they were placed here. There's also an iron level that protrudes from the southern wall, west of the tomb's entrance.
Okay. Can I pull the lever?
Sure.
What happens?
You hear like a metallic rattling from atop the stairs. This seems to work the portcullis.
Ah. Okay. Then I pull it back to reopen it.
Well, no, it doesn't go down. It actually is jammed, so like it
Oh,
rattles in place.
Fair enough. Alright, let's get the
Search around.
get the tomb off. You might have been buried with it.
No magic?
Oh yeah, do I detect any magic in here?
Yes, actually.
I do.
It comes from a coffin.
Pop that sucker open. So I'll say there's magic within the coffin.
Place
Perception
hand.
for traps?
Oh.
18.
You find no traps on this. It's pure, simple, untouched. Until now.
Place hands onto it. Begin to push We should prepare ourselves just in case. We do not know the condition that his brother was laid to rest in. He may be like Strahd.
Why would he be in
Out
conflict?
of character, I've never heard of Sergei being a vampire, right?
No.
I will say, he is dead.
I'll give you guidance. We should try to open this thing.
Do you have to
Can
make
you
a
roll?
check, or can you just open it?
Something that may be quite telling about what's going on right now. What is your alignment?
Neutral good?
I'm gonna need a check from you. Strength.
That is a 27.
You can't look good.
It takes some muscle, but you're able to break the seal and open it up. You then stand face to face, or rather, are now looking at what appears to be a man in perfect condition. He lay almost as if sleeping inside this coffin.
I'm gonna just get spear ready. Just. You sure
He
about
has
that?
long, flowing, blonde hair
Blonde.
and robust features. He is also clothed in shining plate armor, hands over his chest.
My detect magic is not the...
You actually were picking up on a couple of things, and when the coffin opens, like, I don't know what school this would be, but you were able to tell that, like, part of it is on something, and the body's in good condition, so that was probably number one.
Right. So there's clearly some sort of gentle repose effect, and then whatever was sealing it was another magical effect. But aside from those
Actually,
two-
once it's open, you can tell the other thing is coming from what he is wearing, and that the armor he is wearing is also magical.
Wow, magic plate armor. If only anyone could fucking use that.
It's okay.
If only our cleric had lived.
The cleric did not have good traits for
Who cares?
If you
It's
don't
10
have-
movement speed for fucking...
If you don't have a
Yeah.
certain strength and will in this army, you take disadvantage on attacks and shit.
No.
No.
All you do is you have disadvantage on stealth checks, which it happens no matter
Yeah,
what. And you take a -10 to your movement speed. That's not that bad. My paladin has that the whole campaign of Saturday, and it's come up like once. Anyway, I will say the armor is magical.
We might as well take it with us. Unless you think that will range strong
I'll
too much.
I cannot
Cast
feel it.
identify on the body. Can I tell what magical effect is emanating from it?
I will say you can. It's not something that you're familiar with because gentle repose repose has like a duration on
Yeah.
it, and whatever's on here does not.
It's like a permanent
Somebody-
gentle repose
yeah.
effect.
Somebody very powerful was enlisted to make sure that this body would be forever preserved.
So the armor is just being preserved.
Oh no,
No,
the armor
he's
is
being
gone.
preserved.
preserved.
The armor itself is magical. I
Oh.
will then identify the armor.
Who's asking about this body? The armor is out of character. It's +2.
Oh.
And that's
Oh, why would you do this? Fuck.
Does he have some sort of weapon on him?
That is painful.
Not here.
We should still take the armor, maybe? Yeah. That gives you an armor of 20 without a shield.
20 armor class.
Yeah. And I don't think barbarians can wear heavy.
Barbarians cannot.
My soul.
Who's gonna die?
Oh, I'm so upset. This is literally the best. Fucking one of the best items. And we can't fucking use it. That hurts me right in my fucking...
Should we even bother taking it then? Because we don't
Yes,
really have a way
we
to
can
store
sell
it.
it.
We have to carry it
No,
around.
it's fucking... Fold it up and put it in a pack. I'm not leaving +2 plate armor behind. You're out of your fucking mind. I don't care. I'll put it up on my goddamn wall. I am not leaving it here. This is the I'm so mad out of character right now. You have no fucking idea. Let us take it and go.
This is an out of character.
It will be used to fight his brother, one way or another.
No,
If he is as good as a man as I have been led to believe, then he will have wanted it this way.
I'm not really saying you should do this, but is what's his name strong enough to wear it?
Oh, can Irina wear it?
No, you're talking about Isaac.
No, fuck Isaac. Irina, she counts as a fighter, technically, right?
I'd have to look again to see
Well,
if she's
I'm not-
strong enough or if she could. Like,
Well, I'm not
In
talking about her
character?
strength score, I'm actually talking
In
about
character?
proficiency.
maybe.
We can fucking give it to Irina. If she counts as something close enough to a fighter, she should have plate armor. She should have heavy armor proficiency.
Well, I'm saying maybe because I'm gonna decide.
She might not be a
maybe
fighter.
as in look it up in.
She
player's
could just be like.
I'm
It's
not
It's
sure.
not in the player's handbook.
How would her stat block be in the player's handbook?
I don't know. You asked a question, and then after I answered, you reached for the player's handbook. I assume.
For something completely unrelated.
In those 3 alcoves, is it just the statuette of the man and 2 statuettes of angels, one in each alcove?
Walking and getting a closer look.
Is it the statuette of him?
Yeah. Now that you've seen him, like you know,
Okay.
it's very nice, very lifelike.
Is there a way to? So the seal that he broke was like magical, so there's no way to put it back on the thing.
I'm not sure.
Hmm.
In fact, you're not sure if there was a seal on it. Like you just
Pushed.
pushed.
Well, once we've
Alright.
taken the armor, let's go check out the rest of this fucking.
Out of character, I'm guessing since he asked for alignment is the thing of like warding off evil. So if anything evil touched the sarcophagi, something bad would have happened to it.
No, he asked what alignment you were, and then when you said neutral good, he asked for a strength check.
Yeah.
I'm assuming there's a certain alignment that wouldn't have needed to make a check. I'm guessing lawful good, which is why I was going to try pushing it, but you managed to beat the strength check anyway. That's just my assumption. I don't know. But if it's anything like the short sword, we found some stuff in here responds to lawful good
Well,
alignments.
I was corresponding it to the statuette. If something evil touches it, it takes a bunch of damage.
But why would he ask you to make the strength check after hearing your alignment?
Because it's a giant sarcophagus. And they're
Alright,
heavy.
whatever.
Tell us in the comments what you think.
Without looking it up, that would be cheating.
No, we didn't say
They're
that.
not the one playing the game.
The next closest crypt is described as being belonging to one Prince Ariel du Plumet, also known as Ariel the Heavy.
Can I roll history on that? Actually, I should be rolling history on all of these, but I just now thought of it.
Sure.
21.
You think about it as one of you, presumably Siguror, like opens the door, and what'd you say you got again?
21.
According to Sasha's recollection, there once was a man by this name who desperately wished to fly, and was brief gossip among those who gossip, because he attempted to make a number of contraptions with which to fly.
Yeah.
However, none of them could truly bear his weight, especially his last invention, which he decided to test by trying to fly from the pillar stone of Ravenloft, which was also his death.
This
Right.
sounds real fucked up. So basically, he died either because he was a shitty inventor or because it's too heavy.
He probably didn't want other people to test his stuff.
He was very adamant. Entering the crypt proper, you come face to face with the apparition of a large, rotund man He forms within the dark crypt and looks upon you with eyes wild with insanity. You can see the visage of large artificial wings unfold from his back as he reaches outwards and says, "Yes, I will have my next chance. I will have it."
Oh, God. He's not sure.
And it is initiative.
Ah.
Oh.
As he lunges at y'all.
Did you roll twice?
I heard 8.
16.
Oh, who was the 8? Was that you?
That was me.
Okay. You are 8. You said 16. Let's see. And what about crack? 18 for crack. And this guy got what he got. It will be Crack's turn first.
I crit on her.
Jesus.
21 damage.
Does your passive thing
Yeah.
get stuff?
Oh yeah.
Or apparitions something?
Is this undead?
I mean, the damn spirit
Yes.
should be dead.
So 21 plus 2 from dual wounds.
And
So, 22, 23.
I missed it. Are you blasting or are you spearing?
Spearing.
Okay. So you're gonna have to move up.
Yeah.
To meet it.
I'll do that. 25. Damn, I should fucking pass it first. Whatever.
That
You can still. Oh, you should. Yeah.
I do believe is 25. Of course, it's dead.
Oh, no, 5 damage.
He crit up.
He crit. So not bad.
Next attack. This one probably missed. But, 12.
It may have.
Technically, the apparition shouldn't be able to fly. So he already should have what he wants. That's really fighting us.
Don't explain crazy.
That was a hit actually.
Damage. I'll even keep blasting the one right around his face, so I'll take that disadvantage. Wait,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that too, but
That would provoke an attack of opportunity now.
yeah. Also, since the ranger thing, the Bronze Ranger gets advantage on that.
Yeah, you've had advantage this whole time, so this doesn't have disadvantage.
Alright.
It doesn't have advantage.
Just want to make sure.
Alright.
Good. 18.
That is also hit.
Alright, that's a d6. 10. 12. Wait. Yeah. 10 damage, right? Because I don't add the plus 3. Right?
Yeah, I think I need to keep
Yeah,
last.
right. So 10 damage.
Yeah, real quick. Do I know if these kind of ghosts can do anything but possess people?
We have those ghosts.
Like, do they have any way of harming someone that is in possession? Yeah, I can roll religion if you want me to.
Well, without a religion roll, like, he appears to be a ghost like the ghosts you fought before.
The kids.
That
or
came both. Well, the kids were also like ghosts you fought before. I believe you fought ghosts that aren't kids.
Yeah.
And also...
Did they have a way of damaging us that wasn't possession? I legitimately don't remember. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Assuming that he is just a ghost like any other ghost, he can.
Okay.
He is angrily ghost throw stuff at us.
If you think he's different, you can acknowledge religion.
No, it's fine. I was just double checking.
With swift spear and searing ray, you silence the ghost.
Yeah.
Cool. If you wouldn't mind. Thanks.
Give me the fucking thing. I'll kill you.
I love how quickly you go from thanks to I'll kill you.
Now.
Fry went from espousing a speech about friendship and how they shouldn't be fighting to I'll kill you pretty fucking fast too.
Hey, come on, guys. We should all just be friends. Oh, it's late.
I think it's annoying for cut his arm off, which admittedly is pretty reasonable to be like, I'll kill you after someone cut your arm off, but still.
Well, yeah.
There is nothing else apparent in this tomb.
Yeah, let's head to the next
Alright.
The next one, which I believe is a new row for y'all, is labeled Artank Swallovich, friend and member of the Barovian Wine Distillers Guild.
12. See a wine distiller. You know, you can only have me roll if there's something relevant. Okay. Just offering it out there so you don't have to come.
You're like, yeah, I remember. Yeah, I gotcha.
Alright. Let's look inside. It's probably just old wine bottles. I had to guess.
Or maybe another ghost.
You push open and find that you are greeted by the faint smell of wine in this room. There's a skeleton draped in rags that lies atop a marble slab in the center of the crypt. Heaped around it, however, covering the entire floor, are thousands of empty wine bottles.
Nice.
Is
Of
it not
all
ringing?
sorts. The ritzy stuff, the not so ritzy stuff,
Right.
in between.
Alright, let's go into the next one.
There's like nothing full or anything.
You want to drink wine that's in, well, actually,
You grab one thinking maybe? Nah. It's bone dry. There's another one. Or rather this next one. That is labeled Saint Markovia. Dead for all time.
that doesn't sound good.
Huh.
Since he's a saint.
And is there any magic in the tomb?
I guess there is.
Okay.
Is it similar to what was on Sergei's coffin?
No.
Then let's head inside.
This is the thing. When Siguror goes to push open the door, he's struck by several small darts. I want a Constitution save from you.
This is why he should leave.
Mm-hmm.
It just hits. There's no chance to dodge it.
Not right now.
Okay. Would it matter if I can't? That's a trap. 18?
You're feeling strong. No big deal. And it hurts a little bit as you take 4 damage, but it's really more of an annoyance than anything.
110.
Back away. Check it.
Okay. If there were any more traps, wouldn't they just trigger at the same time?
Not necessarily. Every square of that room could be trapped.
11.
Other than some hints at the mechanism that's already been triggered, you don't find anything.
Can't find nothing.
Doors pushed open. The smell of roses reaches your noses. There remains atop a marble stone slab, like all, but these remains have disintegrated. All save for for a single bone.
Is the bone that survived?
Is that the thing emanating magic?
It is.
Huh.
Don't know why I'm holding this.
I will identify the bone.
That's very weird to have one bone in your body be magical.
Sasha,
Is it a femur?
Sasha
Because that would be
moves
kind of funny.
forward and identifies the bone. As he does so, a ghostly form appears from faint dust that hangs around this place. It's so faint, unlike the other apparitions, so faint that you barely discern more than part of a face, a woman's face. From this apparition comes the faintest of whispers. The vampire must be destroyed. Use me as your weapon. That fades away.
Then yeah, I'll definitely identify the fucking bone now.
Bone of vampire slaying. Plus
Unhindered, you
It's a
identify
bone of disruption.
the bone. I haven't actually read what it does, so we'll discover together. It might be. I might look up if you have like bone of disruption.
What's a Mesa disruption do?
I don't know.
Bonus damage to vampires or bonus damage to undead, and if a blow strikes them beneath a certain amount of hit points, they instantly die.
That's kind of cool.
Doesn't it also destroy like undead below a certain CR?
I don't think so.
That's too
You're
rare.
thinking 3.5.
It comes as no surprise that you found Saint Markovia's thigh bone.
Oh, so
What is-
kinda.
But what is a surprise, or rather not a surprise, go figure, is that it has the same properties as a Mace of Disruption.
We found a bone of disruption.
That is a very weird weapon.
If
Oh wait, no, there's a femur.
If it scores one or more hits against a vampire or vampire spawn in the course of a single battle, the thigh bone crumbles into dust once the battle concludes.
So we can only use it once.
So,
Just
yeah,
save it for
Strahd.
Strahd.
You know, with your history check, I'm just going to give it all to you because you got pretty good.
25.
You were already aware that as a youth, Markovia followed her heart and became a priest of the Morning Lord soon after her 18th birthday. And she proved to be a charismatic proselytizer. I don't know what that means. And before the age of 30 had gained a reputation for allowing no evil to stand before her. Markovia had long considered Strahd a mad tyrant, but only after his transformation into a vampire did she dare to challenge him, having no choice. You're also aware that she rallied allies to her, marched on Castle Ravenloft,
And got the shit beat out of her.
but unfortunately, vampire spawn were sent to confront her before, like prematurely, and though they were destroyed to a 1, my bad. I'm not sure. I'm a little confused. I think it means the vampires were destroyed, but it might be the people. It was enough to disrupt their march and ultimately foreshadowed a failure on her part.
Okay. So it functions like a Mesa disruption, but
Yes.
disintegrates at the end of the fight. Does it require attunement?
That'd be kind of shitty for something that just disintegrates after a fight.
I mean, it's good against Strahd.
Yeah, it's a free Mesa disruption.
Once.
It's not good enough.
Once.
It does require attunement.
Yeah, alright, well.
The next crypt is unique in that there is no description where the other ones have had inscriptions.
Does it look like it was scraped out, or is it just like worn off, or just not even put in?
looking a little bit. Like when you move forward to like inspect it closer, you actually feel something upraised from the floor, like underneath one of your hoops. Leaning down, you find that there's an inscription like on the floor this time instead.
Huh.
Like leaning down, you see like the little plaque that's upraised from there, but the inscription has been scraped away. There also, like, since you're like down there, you notice that there's a skull and some bones and a few bits of rusted armor that kind of trail from like here, like there's a little bit, and then it goes like into the crypt. And as you're like kind of looking at it, the door to the crypt like opens on its own.
What comes out of it? Does anything come out?
Or is it just open?
Nothing, yes.
Can I prepare an action to firebolt if an enemy comes out of it?
You could.
Okay.
Seems like someone did not enjoy the company.
What was the name
of his
on this
habit.
script?
It was scratched out.
Scratched out.
That's hence why I was saying it appears someone did not enjoy the man buried here.
Okay.
Or enjoy the one buried here. Unless motioning to the bones and armor, this is that person. Well, let's start moving towards it, I guess.
How about check for traps?
Moving if we detect magic picks up anything. If we get close to it.
You're done.
Gonna take a poke at it. Yeah. You take a little poke around the doorway. Yeah, like, there don't appear to be any traps.
Going in, yeah. And yeah,
Yeah,
prepared,
I'm
obviously.
gonna double check it.
Perfect. Is definitely prepared to being jumped.
Yeah, you can see that. You enter, and once again are confronted, once you get like further in, with a marble slab. But this one with like a stone gargoyle carved and like squatting on the end of the slab.
You know what? Let's not.
Odd. Does magic detection?
No.
But I know gargoyles.
Yeah.
And I will say, do
Okay,
not
magic.
bother. Just leave.
What is
Well,
it?
it's a statue. It could be a gargoyle.
But I know that gargoyles can appear non-magical until they choose to activate.
You also know that.
So I would rather avoid that whole situation altogether and say, and since I don't detect anything magical in the room, there clearly isn't anything worth it. Let's just go. And I will say, let us leave before this thing wakes up and attacks us.
As you were turning around,
I'm not going to turn my back to this thing since you mentioned it could come to life and scream.
okay.
Backing up.
You carefully exit. As the group is exiting, Crack notices that there is an inscription on, like, the back of the door that reads, if you were to believe it, that this is Endrovich the Terrible's final resting place. It also reads below it, what the blood of 100 wars did not do, the spurn of a woman accomplished.
21.
Okay.
And it's in Darovich?
Yes.
Huh.
And you're aware that there is a very, very ruthless and bloodthirsty mercenary. It's quite famous for these parts. That finally met his end when a woman who had rejected his advances, like then later as part of some plot, it's not super clear, like said, that she actually would respond to his advances, but then use it as an opportunity to poison him.
I see.
There's another.
What's the next one say?
This one reads Duchess Dorfinia de Licenia.
27.
Nothing super notable. You know, like she's from here, but like
Right.
nothing extraordinary.
Old rich lady. Completely irrelevant.
She was a duchess.
No, might as well check out the tomb though.
Oh,
Is anything interesting?
I'll help Crack check the door for the kind of cast.
Do I detect anything natural?
No, you do not.
What do you mean how?
I'll give Jeff the aid action for checking the door instead of just giving you guidance.
No,
What do you
it's
vote?
better.
They don't conflict with each other.
20.
Nothing here, trap-wise anyway.
Okay. Sounds fine.
You were able to, with a bit of a push, open this, revealing a skeleton draped in rags that lies atop the marble slab in the center of the crypt, as per most of the others. Hanging on the back wall is a handsome quilt that depicts a royal feast. The room is barren other than that detail.
How nice is the quilt?
Actually, I just forgot about that. You did detect something magical in here. When you get closer, you're capable of in vicinity realizing that the quilt is what you were picking up on.
Huh. What's this?
What's the enchantment? Is it the same? Is it like preservation magic, like what,
Yeah.
like on Sergei? Okay. Is it worth anything? I mean, if they went out of their way to preserve it, maybe it's like that unicorn carpet, and then it's worth a freak huge amount of gold for no fucking reason.
Maybe it's just her favorite.
Well, it could be an art object. D&D treasure art objects are totally a thing.
Looking a little bit at it, there's like it looks nicer when you first enter, but when you get closer, there's some spare stitching that's like done incorrectly here or there. There's some mistakes that you kind of notice. It might literally be worth something, but it's kind of poor quality.
Never mind. What does the next one say?
Are we like halfway through yet?
No, there are over 30 of these.
I think we're like barely at 10.
This is 9. And it is labeled Pidwick, Fool of Dorfinia.
10.
You search for a bit, and you think you actually recognize the name. If only because you were just thinking about the Duchess. It's not super noteworthy, and that a lot of people have a lot of help, but that Duchess also had a fairly funny, if somewhat unhealthy jester in her employ, and this you believe is him.
Search the tomb.
He's a little guy.
Unhealthy, like.
As in he was little.
Oh. I was just wondering if it's like unhealthy human.
I didn't want to say deformed because that's wrong technically.
Malnourished.
You're able to push it open, and you find a small skeleton wearing the remains of a fool's costume that lies atop a stumpy marble slab in the center of the crypt.
There's nothing else in here. If we look around.
I'm making sure. I don't think there is. There appears not to be.
On to the next one.
I found a funny ad. Fucking.
And just
Keep going then.
royals.
This one is Sir Leonid Krushkin, also known as Sir Lee the Crusher. Bigger than life. He loved his jewelry.
Well, let's look for some jewelry.
There you go.
I'm still giving you the aid action. Also, if it doesn't conflict, can I give him guidance and aid? Like, can I cast guidance on him and concentrate on it since it lasts a minute and then give him the aid action?
Can you what and then give him the aid action?
Can I cast guidance and concentrate on it? Because it lasts for like a minute of concentration. And
Yes.
then give him the aid action. Right.
Crack gives it the old once over.
22.
You don't find anything suspect. Seems clear.
I'd find it funny if
Let's go inside.
I'd find it funny if that fly was fucking like some stupid magic item that's useless.
Oh, we would have protected it.
Siguror pushes open the door, and you guys get to see an oversized skeleton draped in jewelry and rags, lying atop a much longer stone slab in the center of the crypt. This one, like, the others were like normal size. This one's easily like 7 feet long, maybe like 7.5.
Does the jewelry actually look expensive?
There's also a blood-stained maul strung with cobwebs that is leaned against the slab as well.
What about that jewelry?
When Ahri gets a little closer, Ahri eyes the jewelry, which, while they have a layer of dust upon them, appear to be fine and rather nice looking.
I'll try
The door doesn't lie.
I gotta just take them.
How much are they? Can I roll intelligence to see how much they were? Or check them out?
Nah, just this once. I'll give it to you. He's wearing 3 jeweled necklaces that are quite handsome and worth 750 gold each.
Okay. Alright. See, we found something at least. Let's keep going.
Wait, what about that maul? The maul is a magical at all?
According to your senses, no.
And for you.
It's just a weapon.
Nothing but memories. There's another labeled Tasha Petrovna. Tasha Petrovna. Labeled Healer of Kings, Light unto the West, Servant, Companion.
25.
I was going to throw out there as
Yeah.
we were leaving. It's off to the side of his.
Yeah, it's leaned against it.
I put it with him. Just like take it and put it in his hands.
That's nice.
13.
But if he's a warrior, they want to be buried and die with their weapons.
It's a little late.
This is a priestly figure that helped partially with the castle, partially with surrounding lands back when things were starting out,
Okay.
and things were a lot better.
Less Strahd.
Less. What's that?
Well, 13 on check.
You don't find anything. Don't find anything suspect.
Let's go.
Alright, what's inside?
Was there anything else about the priest? Or was that just it?
It's basically it. You go push the door open. You find a skeleton wearing tattered priestly vestments, lying atop the marble slab in the center of the crypt. The domed ceiling overhead is painted with a glorious sun mural. As you enter, you also feel just a tiny bit warmer. Like, almost like you're not in direct sunlight, but almost it feels like you're outside a little bit.
Strange.
Inspecting the body, or at least without inspecting the body, it is apparent that the body is wearing, in addition to its priestly vestments, a sun-shaped holy symbol around their neck. And outside of that, you'd have to, like, perception.
We might as well take that holy symbol, right?
Yeah, I'll grab the listen.
Did it have detect? Did it have magic coming off of it?
It does not.
Well, we'll take it.
It's nice, but that's about it.
If it feels
Wait,
like we're
everybody doing
outside a little
perception
bit,
checks?
maybe it's safe
No.
to rest
I
here.
guess not. You.
Hey,
But yeah.
guess not.
Oh.
10.
I got one. I was
Neither of you found anything.
So I got a 22.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
gotta make us familiar useful.
Well, I figured you heard and were like, nah.
I was thinking about something. I still rolled it. Do you want me to not roll it? Then why don't you?
I don't find anything in particular interest in the rest of the room.
Alright. Okay, then yeah, let's just leave.
Oh,
I had said something.
you wanted to take the holy symbol?
Yeah.
Okay. For whatever it's worth, if you try to hawk it to somebody who's willing to buy it, it's worth 25 gold.
I mean, I might just hold on to it.
Also, when Ahri grabs it, he hears a voice in his head that whispers that there's a grave to the west with roses that never die, in a place built by healers in a village called Krezek. When all turns to darkness, touch this holy symbol to the grave to summon the light and find a treasure long lost. And I'm willing to give that again at like a more leisurely date.
Okay.
I will tell them what I heard aloud, though, just so they also know.
How unusual.
Sounds like it may be an important relic. Maybe something that may have been mentioned.
I don't think it fits any of the things.
This
Like she
shadows
said.
is hardly a fortress within a fortress.
But this could be. We have no way of knowing other than looking. Let us continue.
The next belongs to King Trioski, dubbed by this placard as the Three-Faced King.
Definitely has straps.
20.
Can you roll guidance?
Man. 21.
You find nothing on the entrance. You can also your
Can you
knowledge.
check multiple entrances at once so he doesn't have to keep rolling? Because it's going to make this take a while.
I mean, isn't it take the same amount of time just walking?
No,
Because we're
if
walking
he,
each
if
one
he gets to roll
individually.
for the whole hallway at once, then he makes one roll for all of them. How would that not save time?
No.
I thought you were saying multiple rolls on each door ahead of time.
Same.
No, I meant the exact opposite of that.
Maybe.
Then wouldn't it be the same for a history check?
No, because how can you roll a history check on multiple things at once? One hallway, you can walk through a hallway and look multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Consulting your knowledge, there was a king who once was visiting here, and he was known as, to put it bluntly, one hell of a diplomat. Like, forget Two Faces, he had like three faces. Somebody even took it a little farther and like constructed a mask for him once and gave it as kind of like a tongue-in-cheek gift, which did not turn out the greatest, as it led to him believing that this show of arrogance was worth the capture and execution of the person who had done so. Unfortunately, pardon me real quick. Unfortunately for him, he caught and executed the wrong person, which ultimately led to his death.
Nice.
After perhaps once the misunderstanding was sorted out here, he was placed here as some kind of, not apology, but perhaps some kind of power move. And
No, sending him home would definitely be a power move.
Well, it's not like you got a lot of stuff, but go in, I guess.
Siguror.
Do I sense anything magical inside?
I do not believe so. No. Siguror pushes open the door and finds that there are no bones on top of the marble slab that lies in this crypt, but instead a steel helm with a visor shaped like an angry face.
That's kind of cool.
Go over to inspect it. I mean, if it looks
If it's not
Good.
magical.
Just looking at it where it lay, you see that the visor actually has like 3 separate parts that are carved to make one look sad or happy or angry.
Nice. It's kind of cool.
yeah.
I'll take it if you want it. If not, let's move on.
It's up to you.
Well, I mean, I assume it doesn't function as armor, but yeah, I mean, still neat. It's interesting.
Very well. You grab it. Gas starts shooting out the sides of the slab.
Figures.
I would like a Constitution saving throw from everybody in the room, which I assume is everybody, unless one of you is specifically hanging back.
Well, I was already moving on to the next room, but if you want me to roll it, then I got a 19.
Well, that's why I allowed, like, unless somebody was whatever. So, don't worry about it, I guess.
26.
Okay. What about Ahri?
14.
What about Craig?
5.
Then the gas quickly revealed to be poisonous as you double over, cough, hack. It's definitely not fun. Siguror is fairly hardy and doesn't take that much. You only take 11 damage from it.
Only 11 damage.
Save.
Ahri just catches it down the wrong pipe, and Crack, through some twist of fate, just wasn't particularly on it right now with his breathing systems. And then the both of you take 22.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is super dope.
You were able to like stagger out, and after maybe a few moments, the gas stops spraying.
Okay.
Here's a one-time or something.
Yeah, well. What's the next room say?
The next room is, as you look upon it, labeled King Katsky, also known as Katsky the Bright, ruler, inventor, and self-proclaimed time traveler.
Huh.
22?
Self-proclaimed.
Find a gun.
According to the door.
Takes
Find a
quite a
gun.
lot of credibility out of the time traveling thing.
That'd be great. Look at this gun. Really good time travel.
Yeah, if you had a gun, I believe you.
It says you got
22 on my history check.
22. You have deeper insight into his moniker. Being an inventor, he made a lot of peculiar objects, and there came a point where he talked about how the inspiration for these objects came not from the gods, but from beyond time. He proclaimed that he could see into the future, and he was constructing mechanical devices just by observing how they work and working it out in his head backwards.
He's claiming you reverse engineer from a vision of the future.
He was able to gain small notoriety in the beginning of his career because he had come up with a few like mechanical devices that hadn't reached this region yet. A more
Flushing
global,
toilet.
a more global person.
We shall make him king!
You're more learned, so you can do stuff that hadn't reached
I
here.
know.
I got 21.
And then, furthermore, like afterwards, he invented more bizarre things. But like, but it's from the future. Everyone will be using these later. You say.
I got 21.
Do I know what these inventions might be?
You know that a few of them are like specific lever devices. Like there's a nifty hydraulic type lever that doesn't need to be like maintained with oil, and he was able to like rig it up to like a water source. It was hailed at first, and then later
An auto well.
like, meh. It's gotta be near water though. There's
So like it was steam powered?
this guy beat whoever invented the hooded lantern to the hooded lantern in this region.
Alright.
Huh, that's right. Now let's go inside and check.
I got one more.
What if he does have like cool future stuff?
Maybe.
Yeah, I agree too.
Is there anything
This just
inside?
sounds way more promising than most of the other ones we've gone to.
You push open the door after you check it, and what do you know? You don't find anything.
I'll
You
take
still
the-
feel a little bit from earlier, so maybe.
My God, if this. Never mind.
Open it. There's a skeleton inside, draped in rags like so
Yeah.
many others, atop a marble slab like so many others. However, lying amidst the bones is a stoppered drinking horn, a fat pouch, and a weird-looking scepter made from metal and wood. Above the bones hangs from the dome ceiling hung by wires from the dome ceiling, is a wooden flying contraption that looks like a set of folded dragon wings fitted with leather straps, metal buckles, and taut leather wing flaps.
Okay, that's weird.
That'd be
I'm
cool
gonna
if it was.
unstopper that horn. What does it smell like?
Okay, fucking traffic.
Ball of lightning!
And is there any way to get more airflow in this room? It's so
Opening the
stuffy.
doors.
You unstopper the horn and sniff it, and you wouldn't know what this is were you not as learned and as traveled as you are.
Yeah, I have alchemist.
You've smelt this like once or twice before. It smells like gunpowder.
I'm gonna open the pouch. Are there small metal balls in it?
Like ball bearings.
You like grab the pouch, and there are like 20 silver marbles inside.
So I'm gonna take
Oh
that
my
scepter.
God.
Is there a hole at one end of it and like a trigger?
You pick up the scepter. There is.
Oh my God! He has a gun.
It's a fucking musket.
Yes.
And I also want to say, since I for some reason didn't expect you to inspect these all, there was a moment where you guys were excited about getting future stuff, and I was like, I bet it's not going to be that great. Where I had to mask the fact that holy shit, there's a gun. I was gonna joke. Like your character doesn't know what it is, but you found like a musket.
I kind of want to multi-class into Artificer now.
Oh, artificers are the only things that you use guns.
goddamn tempting.
Artificers are the only thing that you use guns.
In character, like looking over the balls, like you're able to recognize like silver when you see it. So out of character, you've got a musket and you've got like silver fucking bullets for a reason.
This is so pimp. Oh my God, you guys.
Damn it.
I'm gonna take all this.
Fuck
the rest of you.
If this is a gun, and that works as a gun, that contraption might actually work.
This is
So
insane.
the wing contraption,
It
you want to put it on and flap around some?
Also, yeah.
I will, upon looking over the device, say, "What is this?" I will have to. I've never seen anything like this, but I believe this is some sort of exploding power or powder with some sort of wand that fires. I don't know. I will need time. See what this is.
What's that?
It looks like some sort of artificial wings,
Yeah, give,
like
the,
Icarus.
give the blind man the gun.
My character, you don't know that I'm blind.
I said that out of character. Are you kidding me? I know you, in character I don't know you're blind. Out of character I do.
Do you know who else is blind and has guns?
Who?
I don't also thinks a little blind.
Oh.
guy character.
I'm sure they exist.
Fucking Eli. Yeah,
Oh,
Eli?
I guess
I'm
that's
Denzel
true.
Washington now.
Eli
Except for
sounds-
he works off of the power of fate. He's blind. That's all part of the movie.
That's
Crack.
part of the movies that he
Yeah,
can't see.
he can see because of his fate. but
Remember,
he's
the
physically
the
blind.
Bible was in Braille at the end.
Siguror, like,
That's
inspects the harness and finds that it appears, I mean, you know, expert, but it appears to be well put together, built to harness
Roll
someone.
an intelligence check to
Uh,
give it a double check.
could fit someone of small or medium humanoid size, though you do notice that there's a little bit of damage on like some of the wings that would need to be repaired before someone tried to use it. You can if you wish.
15 on my intelligence check, just to see if it's structurally sound. I mean, I you kind of already answered my questions. There's rips in it, but is there anything I could tell that aside from the rips that would lead me to understand its operation better?
Or that it's actually functional. Is it anything?
Because it got ripped somehow.
Not really.
Okay.
Like,
I will say
Here
it
it
might
is.
allow someone to fly, but we might want to test it with crack first, to be honest.
and also repair the little.
Well, out of character.
You're
If
probably
it
the
has
lightest
a weight limit,
horse.
we should probably use the lightest person first, right?
Probably
Since
you're a
your
bird.
bones are hollow, I assume you are lighter than me and Ahri, who are full-sized. Not particularly big men, but
Yeah.
you know.
Crack will start to say something and then stop himself
Well, if you want to.
in realization he can perhaps fly.
Feathers might be of use.
No, it's
It's what the Kenku want.
yeah.
More than anything.
Oh.
They
They
desire
want-
flight.
Yeah,
we
we'll-
want
we'll-
one thing.
We'll take it.
And it's
fucking
flight.
disgusting.
It's not, it's flight. And I will say, once it is repaired, if you wish to try it. We found a gun.
I'm as surprised as you are.
This is so fucking cool.
With silvered ammunition.
This is so pure.
I am a little upset I'm not playing Swig.
The objects that are immediately around the body conclude the noteworthy features of this tomb.
Okay.
Alright, let's head to the next one then.
Jesus
I'll definitely
Christ.
pack up my new shit, strapping the musket onto my back. This is so cool.
Jeez.
This is so cool, you guys. I hope we level soon. Because I'm thinking I'm definitely gonna take a level in Artificer. How cool would that be?
With silvered ammunition, fucking actual gun.
Hey there, Firebolt. Never again. Boom!
This is my firebolt now.
I get to beat Arcanum!
Yeah, I guess it's true.
Oh, that's so dope.
And the next crypt
And I can go
is
Battle Forward so I can use it for my attack stat. Or Battle Mind, or whatever the fuck it's called.
the
Is
next
that what
crypt
you
is
No.
labeled Stabal Indibak, a truer friend no ruler ever had. Here lies his family in honor.
20. If there's nothing important, just, you know.
I'm skimming because there may be something.
I can't believe Crystal Strahd has a gun.
Yeah.
You come across Octavio again?
Ah, my friends. What's that?
I'm packing now, Rictavia.
What is that?
Our character's a musket, right?
Yes.
Might take some time to familiarize himself with it.
It's fucking crazy.
Jeez.
Unlike
So cool.
unlike this person.
Yeah,
I
take
s-
crossbow expert. To ignore the loading property.
Oh my god, you could make it arcade.
There
It's
is
fine to play.
there is a royal from a distant land that came here and acted as a chief advisor during the early construction, shortly after the routing of the barbarians and like right when the castle was beginning to be constructed.
Yeah.
And they're mainly noteworthy because they brought like their whole family over here. It wasn't just one or two.
So it was like a family friend. Okay.
So this is a family's tomb.
Yes.
This was like the Baratheons to the Starks. I was having trouble for a second in my head. Except one of them probably wasn't an evil psycho dick. Hopefully. Well, I guess Strahd was technically.
To your
Strahd was the Joffrey of his time.
And this time.
And this
I
time.
guess so.
I mean, we haven't seen crossbowing hookers so far, but
Give it time.
Fucking history, Jack. You crossbow any hookers? Maybe. I don't know. Depends.
Who killed babies?
no Joffrey.
No.
Strahd? I
Or
don't know.
did.
Off the top of my head, like, I wouldn't be surprised.
Or the killing, I should say.
Ah, a snack.
I was thinking it's like a human. Maybe even as a vampire, I don't know. Depends on how accurate we want to be Dracula.
Anyway, yeah, let's head inside there.
Siguror pushes open the door, revealing a crypt that is quite a deal larger. In that, well, okay, quite a bit more unique. In that it opens up to reveal a 10-foot square shaft that plunges into darkness. There's slow sound of dripping water that echoes up from the shaft. Exploring this will be a little more difficult than the others.
Let's skip
And
it.
will be
I'm sorry.
skipped entirely. But we're also going to end for now.
Yeah.
This has been another episode of Curse of Strahd. I am artist David Harper, GM of this adventure, and you can find me on Instagram and Twitter. Or if you want to play a game that I released on itch.io, it's an RPG, short RPG about treasure hunting. That's on there. Got an animated project. There's a Patreon out for Treasure Takers. You can guess what that's about. It's also going to be in the link below. And that's currently it as far as what I'm doing and who I am. What about you?
Marvelous. You can find more of me at Lights Camera Initiative, where I speak for some people some of the time. Additionally, Thursdays, you can find me on the Tainted Lands of Intmore, on the Tainted Lands stream, where I play Luca Dular. It's pretty cool. You should come check it out. And yeah, I have a gun. That is something I was absolutely not expecting.
So there's not even 2 adventures that have guns in them?
Yeah.
Maybe more.
Alright.
Maybe.
6 guns. 7.
Is there anything in particular that any of y'all wanted to say, plug, or what have you before we depart?
Not really.
No, I just...
It's cool we get it again.
Until next time, goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.